Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Commissioners. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Chris Demott. I'm a former paramedic for Campbell County EMS. I've spent the majority of my life here in Campbell County. This is my home. I attended and graduated from this public school system. I have played, coached, taught, and supported the same system. I am a product of Campbell County. It's been an honor to work and serve this community that has helped mold and create who I am today. It has been the highest honor to be entrusted with the health, safety, and well-being of its citizens. I've been through a lot with this EMS service. I've been puked on in the ear by a jail inmate. I've had a lumbar puncture, aka spinal tap, because my partner contracted meningitis from a patient. We thought I did too. I've even contracted scabies from a patient. I'm not too proud about that. I've been on the face of a 140-foot cliff with the assistance and guidance of the rescue squad for a downed hang glider rescue. I left from this service to become a first-year flight medic in New Mexico and Texas. That's highly unprecedented accomplishment to do so in my first year. That's not to say I haven't made my share of rookie mistakes. But I've corrected my mistakes and I've learned something from every call. Danny Shekels, the director of Campbell County EMS, terminated me on May 20th, 2011. On what grounds, he would not say. Let me be the first to say, Danny helped me get about every EMS job I've ever had. He had the county pay for the last semester of my paramedic school, and he even paid for my paramedic license out of his own pocket. I left here almost 2 years ago because I felt Danny and other members of Campbell County EMS betrayed me. I came back here to be home, to raise my children, support my family, and repay Campbell County its investment, all 28 years of it. I'd like to address 4 major infringements and misconduct violations. Jay Muncie, EMT paramedic, former assistant EMS director, current EMA director for the county, and current fleet manager in charge of all ambulance maintenance. January 15th, 2006, Jay Muncie, EMT paramedic, transported Beverly Joyce Branham, my mother, for a suspected overdose. Upon arrival, he documented that she had agonal respirations, or that was dying breaths, and a heart rate of 25. Jay documented being with her only 19 minutes. Jay documented that he witnessed the patient go into cardiac arrest. He also documented that he stopped adequate CPR to call and request orders from the doctor to abort the patient's CPR. Jay had time to call the doctor, but not have time to start an IV, pace the slow heart rate, give 2 or 3 rounds of cardiac arrest ACLS drugs, give Narcan to reverse the possible opiate overdose or the suspected overdose that he stated, or check her blood sugar, which was actually what the problem was. She died from diabetic ketoacidosis stemming from high blood sugar. When he called to stop, one hand was not doing what it was supposed to. He had her intubated. I had the ticket right here. He had her intubated, which means there's a tube down her throat. He's providing respirations. So when he stopped, made the phone call, he was either not pumping with one hand, 2 hands, or providing respirations, or if you've ever been in the back of an ambulance going emergency lights and traffic at a high rate of speed, there was a bar you could hold on to do that. But he had time to stop, call the hospital. On April 1st, April Fool's Day, 2011, Jay Muncie pulled out a pistol from his holster, pointed at another paramedic while he was at work at Campbell County EMS Station 1. Just FYI, according to the CDC, 613 unintentional gunshot wound deaths occurred in 2007. It's approximately the same amount of students that attend Jacksonville Middle School. Danny Shekels, EMT paramedic, Campbell County EMS director, former Rome State EMS director. According to Commissioner Thomas Hatmaker here, Danny Shekels is under investigation for fraudulently giving away 48 American Heart Association CPR cards without properly teaching or testing the recipients. Number two, trucks are routinely breaking down on critical ALS calls. And in reference to 2 trucks with major mechanical problems involving a CPR in progress call, Danny Shekels stated, "You can't make dead any deader than dead." And that's God's way of saying it was his time to go. Danny made these statements in front of almost every Campbell County EMS employee at an employee meeting. Maybe it was God's will, maybe that was his way of saying it's time to go. Or maybe that's God's will bringing the truth to light. Who am I to judge God's will, but who's Danny Shekels? On April 10th, 2011, Danny sent me home for refusing to operate out of an ambulance without a properly functioning air conditioning. Steve Hanby, the state consultant, told him to take it out of service. April 11th, the next day, Danny ran the same truck without air conditioner, without it being fixed. Had to be taken out of service by the crew due to high temperatures that day. As a citizen, it is my belief that the people of Campbell County deserve to know the truth about what kind of ambulance service their tax dollars are paying for. I'd like each of these charges to be investigated, addressed, weighed, and balanced with justice issued accordingly. Thank you.
Have you filed any of these charges with anybody? Right.
No, not yet. Not yet. But I will. I plan to follow up on it in writing. If you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
What do you work at now? So
I'm unemployed.
you're unemployed?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would like to know why he was discharged. If we're needing paramedics as bad as Danny says we are.
Sure. Mr. Demott told some truth there. I did pay for his license, and the county did pay for his final semester. He came here in his paramedic internship. He intubated a live patient. He was investigated by the state EMS board. He was told not to do so. And the instructor, preceptor, myself as the director of Rome State and the director of Campbell County EMS was issued letters of warning. Mr. Demott left to go to New Mexico before he received his letter. In his own admission, he said he left because he was afraid he was going to lose his license. The guy that got intubated received a letter as well of warning. Now, it was on a Sunday morning and I was at home when I was called and asked could he do it, and I said no, because that was a crazy thing to do. And my wife says, why were you telling somebody they were crazy? I didn't tell them they were crazy, it was the action they were going to take was crazy. To find out later on it was done. Mr. Demott chose to leave on his own. He did not receive any punishment from the state that the rest of us had to. His preceptor was and is still a licensed instructor for Rome State.
What discipline did you all receive that I didn't?
We received letters of warning.
I did too.
Okay, if you didn't before because they couldn't find your address. All right, so if you came back, then in December he called me and said, I apologize, I did you wrong. I want to come back home. I want my kids to be where they can be with their grandparents. And I said, Chris, come back home. He was able to make all of his arrangements after he got his income tax to come back home. And it was around February the 17th or so when we hired him back. May the 17th or thereabouts with his 90th day review. During this time, what Mr. Demott told you is true. He did rappel off the side of an embankment. I guess the big question there was, did he have the actual training to do that? I don't know if he did or not. I think the answer was no. So he shouldn't have been doing that.
I done it because the patient needed it. He
All right,
needs
we
something.
had other EMTs that are
No
rope
paramedics.
rescue certified
No paramedics
that
were there
could
to administer.
that could have answered that until he could have gotten there safely.
Just a minute, Dan.
Yes.
I think this needs to be brought up, Chairman of the EMS and the mayor, and not in this formal capacity. That's my opinion as a commissioner. I think you're the chairman of the EMS, am I right, Mr. Evans? And you're right, still the boss of.
Yeah, we can,
Mr. Orr, I'll make this really short right here.
I'd rather not, my opinion, this is a full body, I can't speak for everybody. I think stuff like this needs to be brought to the adequate places first before it ends up in here.
Sure, and I don't disagree with you. It has a separate venue, but I would like to say the reason why, and because Mr. Hatmaker asked, why was he dismissed? He is under investigation again with patient issue, where a patient was transported that possibly could have died.
okay, we'll refer this to the EMS committee and just for them to decide, or for us to decide what to do about if there's going to be written claims, well, then we need to, that needs to be done.
Actually, I don't understand why it should even come before our committee, because we can't make any decisions. You know, this is a case that involves you, and the mayor, because he's the only one that can make a decision on that. We can sit and listen to it, the committee can, but it doesn't go any farther than that. So, I mean, there is no reason for us to even listen to it, talk about it. Danny, you need to make a decision about Danny. Is he right or wrong, or does he need to go farther with it? I don't know.
I've seen no written claims.
There you go.
yet.
May I?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah. Johnny?
I agree with Russ in the fact that I think Alvin, who's the chairman of the EMS, and you as Danny's immediate supervisor, and Chris, I think you four need to set a meeting in your office to discuss these issues. And Alvin, what it does for you, it gives you the option to go back to your EMS committee
Okay.
and give the findings
That's fine.
from the meeting.
Do we want to schedule a meeting Wednesday morning,
I've got something.
Wednesday afternoon?
I've got something with you.
Okay.
What about tomorrow morning?
I've got to be gone tomorrow, so 8 o'clock.
Let me get with the mayor, and then we can contact you on when.
Sure, Thursday morning, 9:30, I'm at the finance office, but I'm good any other day. Let me also add on the CPR issue, Mr. Bruce can tell you when we did this for the school system, it was advertised not for card. I have no clue, no, I'm not under investigation for, and yes, I do still hold teaching status with Rome State.
Mayor.
I'll give you a call sometime